Yo, 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 what is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for Thursday, March 14th of 2024. Happy Pi Day 3.14. So I don't think anyone really does anything for Pi Day. I know it was like a bigger deal back when I was like in school, like high school and stuff like that. We always talked about Pi Day. Even people even brought pies to school, like that's how big it was. So don't know if people do anything for Pi Day now, but I guess if you want to have pie today, you got pie. So, anyways, this is going to be your astrology forecast for this Thursday, March 14th, 2024. Hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful week. Let's go ahead and hop into these astrological transits for today so we can see how you can be better prepared to navigate these celestial energies. I'm going to bring up that calendar, even though it's going to be another one of those building energy kind of days. Same as yesterday, another building energy kind of day. We're building up to that moon entering into Gemini, so the moon's going to pretty much spend pretty much most of the day in that last decan of Taurus today. We are going to see it make the conjunction to Uranus. Of course, by the time that you guys watch this, it would have already conjuncted Uranus. We're also going to see that moon square over to Mars, so we have that aspect as well. And really, we are just building up to that Sunday where it's going to be the first quarter moon that's going to be squaring the Sun conjunct Neptune. Then, as soon as that happens, the moon's going to enter into Cancer. So, yeah, we're pretty much just building up to the 17th. Let's go ahead and look at the chart itself. All right. So I have this set, of course, here at 8:23 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have that moon here at 21 degrees coming off of conjunction to Uranus. So most of you guys probably won't necessarily feel this particular one unless you had some pretty intense and weird dreams last night. Maybe, you know, maybe probably say some weird out of nowhere dreams. I know mine were kind of weird. Like I was like, yeah, like I was, it was like it was weird. Like I felt like I was back in high school, but my brother and I was taking my brother to a different school, and then but we were at the same school, and then I was trying to get to class, but I was like super late to class, and then I couldn't get my locker open, and then by the time everything was done, I just decided to go home, and I was playing for the football team too in my dream, and then like but there's like a rule where it's like if you don't come to school that day, you can't play in the game. So I just said fuck it, and I just went home because I missed like all my classes, and it was so weird. It was so weird. But then I caught like a glimpse of my stats for the year, and even though I was actually in the dream heavier than I am right now, but I was like the top running back in like the county. I don't understand what the frick was going on. Like it was so weird. It's very Uranian. It's very Uranian, just like weird, out of nowhere stuff. Yeah, definitely very weird, out of nowhere stuff. Not only that, but I did not get the greatest sleep last night. I kept waking up throughout the night. So maybe you guys experienced something similar. But with this moon here in Taurus, like I said, in that last decan, it is in the decan ruled by Saturn too. So Saturn's going to have a little bit more influence throughout the day. We're going to feel Saturn a little bit more throughout the day. So, like I said, the main thing though is going to be that moon that's going to make the square over to Mars. This is going to be happening around 11 a.m. or so, and this is it's going to be definitely an interesting one here. We got considering the fact that Mars isn't very strong. I know a couple forecasts ago I said that Mars is going to be one of the few places that we can rely on. I still stand by that, but that doesn't mean that it's not strong. Like it doesn't mean that it's strong. It just means that we have to dig a little bit deeper to find those extra reserves. And it's been harder to dig deeper. It's been harder to find that extra gear. We had to like dig really deep to try and find that extra gear. Because you got to think about it. This Mars is being disposited by a fallen planet that is Uranus and Taurus. Now the moon is here with Uranus too. It just conjuncted Uranus as well, and then it squares over to Mars. So it's like it gets a double whammy because now the moon has its energy amplified by Uranus, and it's like Mars can't really catch a break here. So it's like we're wanting to feel our value and our worth, But the difficulty is with the Mars and Aquarius is that, yeah, Mars wants to connect and take some innovative approaches, but Mars is tired. Like Mars can't really do a whole lot here. It's having to really, Mars is trying to find its identity here in Aquarius. And it's like the usual things that we do aren't necessarily working. Like the usual solutions that we usually make or take aren't really working. So we have to think a little bit more outside the box. And it really depends upon, of course, the company that you keep. You know, this is like I said, this is like I'm trying to think of like a decent example, but this is also, I think, about relying on the resources that you already have. You know what I'm saying? So but to give like, all right, to give like a very simple example, right? This is like a person that normally orders out food all the time. They normally order out food like all the time, right? And their internet goes down or something like that. Maybe their internet goes out, their Wi-Fi goes out, or something like that. Or maybe something happens to their phone and then they can't order out, and then they have to actually eat the food that's already in their apartment or in their home and stuff. And that maybe they get a little bit frustrated because it is Mars, so Mars will get angry too. So and maybe they get a little bit frustrated that they can't normally do the thing that they do, right? Even though it's like a very small example, it could be sort of like that. Or even taking another step further, this is about like, yeah, maybe you don't know what to eat, right? The source is about food. Maybe you don't necessarily know what to eat. And you look in the refrigerator, you look in the pantry, and you're not really feeling any of these things, but you don't exactly have it to just be eating out every single day of the week. So you got to make do with what you got. This is when you put some weird ass meal. We all have had weird ass meals where we put different things together that don't really make a whole lot of sense, you know? And but the goal is to satiate yourself. The goal is for you to get the nutrients from that food and for you to feel better, is to quench that hunger. That's the ultimate goal, So I think in life right now, that's kind of where we are. It's like we're hungry and we're like looking like the spiritual pantry, if you will. And the normal things that we would eat, our normal favorites, aren't there, or we only have a few of them. And we're having to combine them with things that usually are like second tier in our heads or third tier. And then we may even find out that those second and third tier things are actually pretty fucking awesome. But this is about utilizing the resources that you have and taking advantage of what you do have in your life and appreciating those things and not getting super flustered or super angry if you find yourself, getting, relegated to like your second and third or fourth favorite options. We don't have all of our favorites right now. We don't have all of our first round. We don't have all of our our first picks right now in life. And we have to learn how to be okay with that. Perfect example. Tom Brady got drafted in the sixth round. He became the best quarterback of all time. So yeah, ideally we'd like to have all first round picks. And ideally all those first round picks would perform to their expectation and their hype. And that's the other thing too. Is like we don't want to necessarily fall for the hype of things that we project that are going to be the best, if you will, right? So that's the other part about this. Utilizing the resources that we already have. Not getting too flustered and angry if things don't go exactly the way that we plan, you know? And we have to be able to innovate right now. We have to be able to adjust on the fly. Mars and Aquarius is about the audible. It's like, yeah, I'm using a lot of sports analogies just because I've been playing a lot of Madden lately, so forgive me, guys. But yeah, an audible is when you switch it up. So like if you're calling a play and the quarterback gets down there, but then he looks and he sees something that the defense is doing, and in his head he's calculating, okay, the play that we're using is probably not going to work. Let me call a signal. Let me put out a broadcast, which is Aquarius, that's Uranus. This looks like a tower, and this is like the broadcast, like the radio waves, right? So let me put out a broadcast that my teammates are going to pick up on, and we're going to switch the play in an attempt to counter what the defense is trying to counter us with and to get around it. That's what you kind of have to do right now. But if you keep just using the same fucking play over and over and over again, and you don't have the ability to perceive what the defenses in life is doing to counter your progress or to counter you, but you just keep doing it, you gotta be able to adjust. You gotta be able to take an audible. It's just like, I'm gonna use this again. It's just like in Madden. Like, there are certain plays that I will use that just work. They'll work for like a quarter or two, and then they'll stop working. And sometimes I am stubborn and I keep using the same play, and the defense either picks off the ball or they stop me. That happened to me last night. Like, literally, like I did the same play twice in a row, pick six, and then I adjusted, and then I blew the team out. Right. So like that's the thing. But are you going to just keep doing the same thing, or do you have the ability to adjust? Do you have the ability to adjust? You know, and I think that's really what today is about, and just building up to this Sun Neptune conjunction in general, right? So we're going to see the moon do that. The moon is also, of course, going to sextile the sun here at 24 degrees. So yeah, this is an opportunity that kind of opens up here. I think we're doing a lot of spiritual maintenance right now. You know what I'm saying? And normally we would call on like our guides and our angels to help us. It's like we're pulled over on the esoteric, like we're pulled over on the side of the esoteric road. And normally we would call our angels and our guides to help us to replace this tire. Yeah, well, you have a spare in the back. There's probably a jack back there. You gotta get down and you gotta actually replace the tire yourself. You know, that's where our guides are kind of like. They're still going to be there, but they're not going to do all the work for us. We got to be able to get down and change our tires. And yeah, it may be frustrating, maybe annoying. You may have to look up a video on YouTube, but you change the tire and you keep it moving, you know? And that kind of experience is super important for our development. But that's kind of where we are spiritually, is that we're having to do a lot of spiritual maintenance right now, and we have to do the work. We can't just rely on our guides. We can't just rely on all those things that just come through for us. They're going to be there, obviously. They're not going to let us just completely walk off the cliff, or at the very least, if they do let us walk off the cliff, they're still going to pick us back up, and we need to be picked back up, right? It's all for our spiritual development. But we can't just ask them to constantly replace our tires for us. We got to be able to do it ourselves. I don't know, some people are just like, they enjoy modern day conveniences and they want everything to be taken care of for them. I get it. I had to change my tire the other night. I don't change tires very often, but I had to do it. I had no choice. I had to change my tire at like 10 o'clock at night, right? And I know how to change a tire. I've done it before. It was a bit frustrating because I wasn't able to undo the bolts as well. So like when I would lift it back up, the whole tire was spinning. So I had to put it back down multiple times and stuff like that. So that was frustrating because like I said, I knew what I was doing. Yeah, I looked up a video just to make sure, but I knew what I was doing. It took me over an hour to do it though. It was like something like 45 minutes to do it, where normally it probably should have only taken me like 15 to 20 minutes. And that's how it is. It's like, so even things like that, if it's something that you know how to do, but there's going to be like little bits of things here and there that may cause some frustrations, you got to learn how to be able to roll with the punches. And this moon sextiling over to the sun, it does give us an opportunity to really see the value in the spiritual work, especially considering the fact that the sun did conjunct Saturn recently. There's a lot of spiritual maintenance, so we got to be able to see the value in that. And like I said, we have to be able to rely on our own ability to get things done and to do the work, because no one's going to do the work for you, right? So now after the moon does that, of course, we will see it sextile Neptune, right? And it's kind of pretty much the same thing. Now this one this will actually help us to kind of ground a lot of the spiritual energy that we're feeling. It gives us an opportunity to kind of ground it because there is a lot right now. There's a lot right now. So anybody that thinks that they have it perfect or completely figured out, these are the people that you probably want to avoid because they're probably hiding something. Probably hiding some really, 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 really deep skeletons. Like really deep skeletons. Like, right? So these are the people that you don't necessarily want to trust. You know what I'm saying? But this will give us an opportunity to help ground out a lot of this energy, especially with it moving on Uranus too. It can definitely, the moon's going to be electrified pretty much throughout the entire day. So with something like this, will help us to kind of just smooth things out a bit, and we can start to really start to, um, move through these energies. I think this is a day about going with the flow, even that the moon is in Taurus, about going with the flow. Little frustrations may pop up here and there. Try not to get too angry, try not to get too flustered. Dig deep. I know it feels like there's not a lot of energy as far as like motivational energy, that deeper motor inspiration to actually like kind of do things, but this is kind of one of those moments where you kind of have to just do it even if you don't feel like it, you know what I'm saying? So now by the time that of course the moon does all this, it does go void of course, and it will actually hit Gemini like pretty much at the end of the day. I know I put it for Friday, but it's pretty much right at the end of the day. And what's crazy about this moon too, and I'm pretty sure it's it's heading out of bounds. It's at 23 degrees north, and it's going to only get even further out of bounds. That's kind of the crazy thing about it. Like I'll show you guys too. It's a bit of a precursor for tomorrow, if you will. But let's see. I just want to. There we go. Okay, cool. So by the end of the day, we're going to see. Y'all see that right there, the moon 23 degrees north, so it's out of bounds. So emotionally, we could be a bit out of bounds. This is why I'm saying that, like, from a feeling aspect, we want to make sure that we're not like overreacting to things, if you will. We don't want to make sure that we're not overreacting to things, especially with the conjuncting Uranus. This can definitely make our emotions even more radioactive, which means that it will start to affect the people around us and bring down their vibration. Right now, we might as well see where the moon was when it actually conjuncted Uranus, because now I'm interested to see if it was out of bounds at that point. It was not. It was not out of bounds at that point. It starts to become more out of bounds as the day progresses. So you will see that as the day progresses, emotionally, more and more and more, we're going to be a little bit more sensitive and a little more intense. Now you got to whenever a planet is out of bounds, that means that its energy, its expression is hyperbolic. It's exaggerated. So the emotions are going to become more exaggerated throughout the day. By the time that we reach that first quarter square to the sun, which the sun will be on Neptune, it's going to be way out of bounds. And I'll show you guys that, more tomorrow. But just be wary of that. Things are emotionally sound to start off on the day, and things will become a little bit more exaggerated, a little bit more hyperbolic as the day progresses. Do your best to not lose it. Do your best to not over respond, overreact, and do your best to not get super flustered, especially because like the small things can start to get under our skin a little bit today. But you have to have the strength and the courage to not over respond and overreact. Let's get into the cards. Mm-hmm. Almost. It almost flipped out. Oh, it flipped out. Oh, all three cards flipped out. See, when it happens like that, I'm cool with it. All right, so I have The Emperor. Yeah. So, like I said, this is a day where we want to definitely feel our power, our spiritual authority in many ways. I have also the Strength card and the Lover's card in reverse. Very interesting. Very interesting cards. The Strength card and the Lover's card in reverse. We have to just have the strength to find our inner authority. We have to have the strength to find our power and to dig a little bit deeper here. The Lover's card in reverse. Yeah, this is like we're kind of wanting things to go a certain way. We're wanting everything to be like, that fairy tale love right now, or that fairy tale, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? We just want everything to look like a fairy tale right now, I think. We want it to look perfect. We want it to look like that fairy tale romance, whether it is romantic or not, or just a situation. We just all want it to look like a fairy tale. But it's not going to look like that. It's not going to look like that. So we have to have the strength to find that extra gear in life, to dig a little bit deeper, to see what's possible, to see what's there. you know Utilize your resources, utilize the knowledge that you've accumulated to this point. Some of you guys are sitting on knowledge that's a bit rusty, or skills that are a bit rusty. You have the skills, but because of the convenience of life right now, you have not felt the need to use the skills. It's time to dust it off and use those skills, because that's what's going to get you through these moments. That's what's going to get you through 2024. That's what's going to help you get to the new world. So I think I think we got to be able to see the beauty in life. We got to be able to see the beauty in what's going on right now. With that Lover's card in reverse, if you want to look at it from a romantic standpoint, yeah, maybe this is about having the courage to actually approach that person that you really do care about. Or this could also be having the courage to, maybe you learn, I don't know, this is like, maybe you and your partner today, maybe y'all get into a bit of a spit, maybe y'all get into a bit of an argument, but you're having the courage to, not get so trapped in your ego with the Emperor there, you know, because that's possible. But this does give a bit of a domineering kind of energy with the Emperor and the Strength card upright, and with the Lovers reverse. So I think a day like today, shit, I don't know. I'd be worried about domestic violence today. I know that sounds like a weird thing. I know domestic violence happens every day, but for some reason I get domestic violence that comes in, because I think as the day progresses, the moon becomes more exaggerated, and considering the fact that since it gets more exaggerated as the day goes, and it will be towards the evening time, and then that's when people are usually at home. You just want to make sure that you're not getting into any weird arguments with your partner today. you know if you and the thing is that I don't think either side will be really much yielding, so it's just almost it's almost better to just agree to disagree if you are in a relationship and you happen to get into an argument today, because it could get, like I said, because the moon's out of bounds, it's going to be exaggerated and hyperbolic, which means that it's probably actually not as big of a deal as either of you guys are thinking you know I have turn on the light for the answer is simple oracle, and that's it's interesting too. It's just a guy and a chick. They're standing out on a cliff. I don't know how they got up there, and they're just looking out over the valley. Turn on the light, And I think that's where we are right now in life. It's like we're doing things in the dark, and we're like, it's like almost like trying to put together a puzzle in the dark, and we just keep getting frustrated and frustrated. And our guides are like, just turn on the light, bro. Just turn on the light. It's like, no, I can do it. I can do it while I'm still in the dark. It's like, just turn on the light, bro. And then you turn on the light, and then you realize that you're trying to put together a puzzle with pieces from like 5 different puzzles. So it was never going to work. You know what I'm saying? So that's why your guys are just like, turn on the light. Turn on the light. If you're trying to figure out something, your guides are like, look up a how-to video. So try not to let your ego get too much in the way today and get super frustrated and like frustrated. I just mixed flustered and frustrated into one word, frustrated. Yeah, try not to get too frustrated today. You know what I'm saying? But, utilize the power of Mars to dig a little bit deeper here and to take some innovative approach to life today. That's going to do it for your daily astrology forecast for this Pi Day, March 14th, 2024. Hope you all enjoyed it. Hope that this assists you on your journey today. If you did enjoy this, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. If you would like to have a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to my website, jphoenix.com. As always, y'all take care, stay blessed, have a wonderful Thursday. I will see you all on the next astrology forecast. Peace.